Hi everyone, it's Mike with Crane Realty. We're at the start of a new month here in April 2023. So that means that we get a chance to look at the previous month's inventory, the month of March, and that'll really help for us and anyone who's interested in getting a gauge for what type of activity is on the market. Are buyers very aggressive, or is that lessening at this point? Are there a lot of listings? Is there a lot of properties to go and take a look at? The common laws of supply and demand really dictate a number of those different aspects. So hopefully this video will shed some light on that. Without much further delay, let's get right into the numbers. Alrighty, so we're going to be taking a look at the last 10 years, number of new listings in the top left corner there, and we'll be looking at months, of course. And we'll be seeing Ontario County. We could look at a number of different areas as well, Monroe, Wayne County. Ontario County, like it, that's just where we're based out of, keeping the numbers kind of simple. But for the most part, a number of the different counties really reflect what we're experiencing here. If you were curious what that information would look like as far as a graph goes over the last 10 years, this would be it. You could see the peaks coming up to summertime, getting over generally, and as far as the buyer's market goes, back in 2013 up to just about 2019, you could see pretty consistently getting over 300 at the peak of its market, and then entering into fall time, and then certainly in winter in the holiday season, in the backswing of the market, and then in springtime occurs, seeing that start to pick up. Okay, you can see some of these jagged lines on the left-hand side. That's essentially what we're kind of creating here or seeing with regard to our spring market. So every now and again, we'll have a certain month that just punches a little bit higher with regards to its inventory, and maybe the following month doesn't necessarily have the number of new listings. Looking at data, we'll scroll down right here. And you can kind of see across the board for the month of March, it's pretty consistent trying to get at or very close to 200 new listings. The previous year, 2022, we were able to achieve double over the month of February, getting 200 even. We were hoping to replicate or do something similar to that, and I just don't think that really came to fruition, as we were able to get 152 new listings here in Ontario County. That still means that it's a very aggressive buyer's market. I believe from my personal experience, it's a lot less buyers. When the interest rate essentially doubled and tripled, what that ended up doing, you're going from a 2 3/4, 3.25% interest rate, and then you increase it, over roughly about 9 months is really what we're approaching, since late June to July is when that took place last year. It's decreased the buyer pool, right? So fewer buyers are able to get financed. Maybe they were able to get financing at 3.25 at 100K, but now that's really just not in the cards for them. And it's taken everyone from a higher interest rate and brought them down just a little bit, right? Your buying power can't be the same if you're pre-qualified at 200K, and now you just have a much significantly higher interest rate. It's going to decrease your buying strength. So the buyer pool leveled off a little bit, but what ultimately ended up happening is that there's just the supply part of it. There's not a lot of places to go, and I'm constantly getting people even asking, where can I go to rent? Rent's crazy expensive. I mean, it's consistently getting over $1,000 a month. And I've even heard of some places that are getting close to like $2,000 per month for their rent. It's very expensive. And if it's in the ballpark or even exceeding what would be a mortgage payment, why would you not own it? So I know people try to favor, if you are able to make those types of payments, you're wanting to make a mortgage payment, putting your money into an asset that you can appreciate over time, then maybe build some sweat equity in and build up its value. Hopefully this information is helpful to you. If you're a seller out there, I would say probably strike when the iron's hot. Those kind of jagged lines where the spring market was kind of going up and down a little bit. We'll see if we continue this trend on 152 new listings for the month of April. Usually that's where we see an uptick You can kind of see from March to April right here. Usually there's a noticeable uptick outside of the year 2020, which of course was kind of an anomaly. But you could see the remaining months, or between those 2 months, March to April, it was generally trending in an upward tick, and then really consistently getting into some pretty significant numbers with regard to the month of May. So if you want to kind of get ahead of the curve, if you're a seller, do some of that yard work, any of those improvements probably would be a really good idea. You don't want to be the house to be listing along 5 other ones on your street. You like to be the only one. That's going to help out with regard to your bottom line. If you're a buyer out there, definitely I would suggest buttoning up your finances, making sure that you're really on the same page with your loan officer, having really clear communication with them, that you know exactly what you're capable financially to go to, operating within those limits. We never want to see someone overextend themselves and living on that ramen kind of budget. So certainly try to stay within those financial parameters, but really know it inside and out. And that's just coming from having a really clear communication with the loan officer and having that information transparent to what the realtor helps, because it can be reflected in your offer as well, especially for when the time the right property pops up and you want to be, a go-getter and make it happen. So hopefully this information was helpful to you. If it was, give this video a thumbs up and be sure to click the subscribe button, where we come out with new content each and every week, so you won't want to miss it. All right, everyone, until then, we'll talk later. Take care. Bye-bye.